Hi people, it's Archivist here, and today I have a review for the PC version of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Going into Black Flag, I didn't expect much to be honest. While I have always enjoyed Assassin's Creed games, I felt a bit tired by the third installment. I was a little cynical for sure, but I was pleasantly surprised by this pirate-themed, swashbuckling adventure. I knew the graphics were going to be good before I started playing, but it turned out to be so much more than just a pretty face. The story of Assassin's Creed 4 focuses a great deal more on the pirate aspect of the game than it does the assassin portion. This isn't to say it's absent entirely, it simply holds a less important role. This time around the main protagonist is Edward Kenway, a man driven by a loss of power and riches. I would have to say he has a lot in common with Altair, but I think overall his motives were a lot more sympathetic. Whereas Altair was arrogant for the sake of arrogance, Kenway's need for a better life is driven by his fairly reasonable views. Initially he decides to become a pirate because his current livelihood doesn't pay nearly enough considering the work he puts in. The actual assassin storyline doesn't really introduce itself properly until a couple of hours in, but you do don the iconic apparel almost instantly. However, this comes about more as an accident than an official ceremony. For me, the most enjoyable aspect of the story were the characters. You will meet iconic pirates such as Blackbeard on your journey and learn about what motivates them. There are some great moments of drama that give us a glimpse into the beliefs of the different characters. Tonally speaking, the game is a bit of a blend. Some characters offer some great comic relief, while others never break from their serious personality. It's a mixed bag, and personally I think it all comes together very well. In terms of voice acting, everything is excellent. Accents sound authentic and emotion is conveyed with genuine sincerity. This sort of quality wouldn't seem out of place in a high budget TV series. Making a return are the modern day missions where you control a nameless Abstergo employee. Personally, I didn't particularly care for this portion of the game, but it does have some comically surreal elements that will likely amuse fans of the series. The gameplay in Black Flag is fairly similar as a whole to what Assassin games have offered since the beginning, however there is now a much greater focus on naval combat. While piloting the Jackdaw, you can attack enemy ships with your cannons to either sink them or board their ships in order to take their cargo. During combat, your broadside cannons will be your most trusted weapons, however you can use other tools such as the swivel cannon. You can even use a Jackdaw to attack fortresses, which can be quite challenging depending on which one you are trying to take over. You begin by bombarding the fort from the sea, but then you move in to capture the location on foot. More general combat is all about breaking through your enemy's defences. While some can simply be countered with a parry, others require a little bit more thought to take down. I really enjoyed using the dual cutlasses, they really do make you feel like a guy who is capable of taking down multiple foes at once. Stealth is very similar to what we had in previous games, but with a bit more of a focus on actually becoming invisible. While previous games in this series almost always had you hiding in plain sight, here you will be constantly hiding in shrubbery and pulling enemies into the shallows. You also have some tools you can use to help you out, such as blow darts that can send enemies to sleep. You can kick them later if you want. Of course, the hiding in plain sight aspect is still here, there is just a little bit less of it. It's most commonly found in the tailing missions where you have to eavesdrop on a conversation without being noticed. Blending in with the crowd is key here. Entirely new to the franchise though are the underwater missions. While they aren't a major selling point, they do add some variety. The game can even get pretty tense when you have to hide in seaweed from hungry sharks. And naturally the excellent free running returns and it's just as great as ever. If you have played AC3, you will definitely be happy to know that you can still climb trees and it feels just as organic as it always has. Lastly, with regards to gameplay, the Brotherhood missions have been replaced by Kenway's fleet, where you send ships off to find treasure by themselves. The graphics in Black Flag, as you have probably noticed, are amazing. Being a next-gen title, this is the biggest leap the franchise has ever made in terms of visuals. Textures on characters are very well detailed, with no blurring to speak of. While all the human models are good, Edward Kenway and the other main characters have clearly received the most attention. This is most apparent during the in-game cutscenes where the camera will often pan very close to the characters' faces and still the detail is absolutely incredible. A special mention should also go to the animators who have done a great job on facial animations. This mastery also extends to how naturally Kenway navigates the environment. While it hasn't necessarily improved a great deal since AC3, it still surpasses what most other franchises have to offer by a mile. There are also 3 key environment types that all have their own unique look. Firstly, there are the towns that veterans of the series will be familiar with. They look very similar to settlements of the past games, albeit with a Caribbean flair. Then you have the jungle environments, which are equally as impressive. Vegetation realistically moves as Kenway passes through it, and trees are also a lot more vibrant than they have been in past games. And finally, the most impressive aspect of the game's graphics are the ocean environments. Waves crash furiously against the jackdaw dynamically as water cascades across the deck, dousing your crew in salt water. I should mention that this game is a fairly demanding PC title, especially if you set the graphics to maximum. However, unlike Call of Duty Ghosts, the hardware requirements are clearly justified by the gigantic, meticulously detailed open world. As you might expect from an open world game, Black Flag offers a great deal to do after completing the main story, and when I say a great deal, I really can't emphasise that enough. The sheer number of missions to complete, treasures to find and ships to plunder is absolutely staggering. First, you have the assassin contracts where you are tasked with killing a specific target. You are given a lot of freedom in terms of completing the contract. I favour taking them down in style given the opportunity. You can, if you wish, upgrade your character with new weapons and enhanced attire. For example, if you want to be able to hold more pistols, crafting a new holster would definitely be in your interest. Moreover, you can use the resources you have stolen from other ships to upgrade the jackdaw. This is of paramount importance if you plan on taking down some of the larger ships. There is even a great deal to be done simply by exploring the gigantic open world. Sailing the ocean can actually bring back fond memories of Wind Waker if you had the privilege of playing that game, except this time the ship's a bit bigger. Even the missions have extra objectives to complete, so you may want to replay them so as to achieve full synchronization. With sea shanties to find, vistas to behold and uncharted lands to uncover, the lasting appeal of Black Flag is quite possibly its greatest strength. There is also a multiplayer aspect to the game, however after playing a few matches I found myself returning back to the single player. I won't hold this against the game because to be honest AC4 doesn't need multiplayer, it's just there if you want it. In conclusion, Black Flag is an excellent addition to Assassin's Creed, even if it makes some changes in terms of narrative focus. The graphics are beautiful, the story is captivating, and side missions will keep you coming back for a long time after the main campaign is over. Taking all this into account, I award Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag a 9 out of 10. As always people, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.